Hello and welcome to the Kristin Carrera podcast. I am Kristin. Welcome back if you've been following along. And if you are new, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, follow along, and comment. I love to hear where you are on your journey. Today, I'm going a little bit outside of what I normally talk about, but I think that it's something that's really important. I found this on social media and it really got me thinking. And I wanted to have this discussion with you. It's just a discussion. I'm basing most of this off of things that I've learned and my own personal experience and sharing it with you in hopes that this is a discussion that we need to start having with each other without feeling like somebody is attacking you or feeling like they're putting you down or shaming you. It's not about that. And it's more about just having an open conversation and really opening our minds and learning what we are feeding our children. So, yes, we are talking kids today. As a mama of three, I struggle with this all the time. We are not perfect here in our home. My kids are not full carnivore. They're probably about 70% animal based, and then they implement some other things in their diet, in their nutrition, in their foods. But I do struggle internally with even some of the things that they still eat. And we are trying our best to educate them without trying to put this fear of that food is bad, because I don't want them to have a negative interaction with food. I still want them to enjoy food, but also know what they're putting into their bodies. And it's definitely not easy, especially when they were little. My kids are little. The littlest one definitely doesn't understand anything other than what we give him. So I think that it's definitely an important conversation that we need to be having. And so today, this is for all the parents out there, not just the mamas. But feeding your kids can be just one of the most stressful parts of your day. And I know that it is for me at times, but here's the truth. Today, we're going to have an honest, no shame conversation about what goes in our kids' lunches at times and how we can make small, realistic changes that can truly benefit their health. And this podcast idea came from, like I said, a post that I saw online. So before we jump in, I just want to share something that a lot of parents can relate to. And when I came across this post online, it really just got me thinking, and it hit home, because although my kids don't eat these things, and even when I had my first child, I was very cautious about the foods I was giving him. We were definitely not perfect. We're still not perfect, but we have definitely changed a lot of the foods that we eat now versus when I had my first child. So this was the post that I came across, and it says, "This was my child's lunch today. Nothing cut up in a cute shape, no handwritten notes. There's not theme or decorative lunchbox, nothing she could heat up, no separate containers, fruit thrown in a plastic bag. Sometimes I throw in a little pizzazz, something extra. Sometimes I yell as she is getting out of school drop off, 'Oh crap, hot lunch today.' And guess what? I'm still a magic mom. Hashtag normalizing normal." So I want to first say that I think we've all been there, right? It's easy to feel like you need to make these picture perfect lunches every day that we see on Pinterest or on Instagram. But let's be real. Sometimes that is just not possible. And sometimes it's just not in you. I want to be that Pinterest mom, but I am an Amazon, let's grab the quick thing kind of mom. Let's make it simple as possible. But here's the thing. We know that life is busy. We know that kids are picky. Some kids have certain issues, and where those things may change for that family. That's a different case. And sometimes we're just trying to get them out the door with something in their stomach, and life can be chaotic. But here is the thing. While convenience is important, because I'm all about convenience and quick meals and feeding my kids a nutritional, balanced way of eating, we need to be mindful about that. That having that balance for our children is what our kids need, okay? Now, let's take a hard look at this photo. This is what she gave her child. So we have raspberries in a plastic bag. Okay, raspberries, not too bad if your children eat fruit. An Uncrustable, which like kills me because I know that these things are probably full of just sugar and seed oils and who knows what other kind of preservatives. Cheetos. Cheetos are the worst. Cheetos are full of sugar, full of dyes. I have noticed the difference in my child when he has eaten Cheetos, like at a school event or somewhere at a birthday party that they have given it to him. And I can see the difference in how his energy levels skyrockets, how he becomes fidgety. People, kids, adults all alike, I have noticed this difference, especially in like if you have like HDAD and ADHD. Did I say that backwards? Sometimes I think I'm a little dyslexic. But I've noticed a difference. I saw the difference when I was young in my sister, when my mom would stop giving her Doritos and things like that because she noticed the difference and said, like, these kind of foods are triggering her. And they really were. And I see it in my own child when he's had Cheetos. So I tried to explain to him the ingredients that are in Cheetos and how they are not healthy for him and how they make him feel. And I think it's important to be honest and open with your children and explain to them these things. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that people want to hide these things from children because they want to make their children happy because these kind of foods make their children happy, or they believe that it makes their children happy, and the kids believe that it makes them happy because it's what they're used to and because they taste good and because they are addictive. The other thing in this photo is fruit roll-ups. These fruit roll-ups probably don't even have real fruit. And this Yo Crunch Oreo vanilla, that's killing me, is just packed with sugar and it's not offering any nutrients. There is nothing other than maybe the raspberries in this lunch that I can say is healthy, and carnivores will also argue with you with that because they don't eat fruit, but that's another story. This is just a big problem. And I get it. We're running out the door. We don't have time. I get what she's trying to say. I get what she's trying to say. She just doesn't have time. And sometimes this is what your kid gets. But we need to be honest. We need to see the bigger issue here. This lunch is lacking something critical, and it's called protein. There's no protein, no good protein in this lunch. Protein is essential for growth, development, and keeping your kids full and focused throughout the day. This lunch is missing the key components of what your child needs, and without it, your child might experience energy crashes, mood swings, and even difficulty focusing in school. Focusing, go back to those Cheetos. There's no focusing if my kid has Cheetos, let alone everything that was in this lunchbox. My kid would be jumping off the walls and then probably end up throwing up afterwards because one of my kids has a really sensitive stomach, where all of this kind of food is definitely not going to do good in his body. Every child is different as well, so we have to remember that. But this is not a healthy lunch. Now, again, I'm not here to shame anyone's choices. You do you feed your kids whatever you want. I'll do me. But we get it. We get that life's busy. But here's what I want to emphasize. Even small changes can make a big difference, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. You can make adjustments without completely overhauling everything at once so that your kid also doesn't freak out that everything's changing, like you're not all of a sudden just changing their diet completely. But small foods here and there, just changing it up until they get used to it. It's all about creating a habit. When your child is born, what do they look for? Breast milk or formula? And then we introduce foods to them. We introduce foods to them. They don't know what Cheetos taste like. They don't know what Oreos taste like. So when I hear that this is all my kid wants to eat, well, yeah. I mean, wouldn't you too at that age? Versus a steak or Cheetos. As an adult, steak, please. But and not even as an adult, there's some adults that will pick Cheetos. But as a child, they're going to pick the Cheetos, guys. They're going to pick the Cheetos. So if we don't allow them to have these choices, they don't know the difference. And that's where it's just like this mind-boggling thing that I struggle with when I see these things. So let's talk about better options. The bread. Instead of store-bought white bread, try finding a healthier, maybe sourdough bread. They're made with simple, real ingredients, and preferably really only 3 ingredients should be in it. So always make sure, because a lot of the store-bought breads, even sourdough, you will see have 10 to 15 ingredients and seed oils and things that they don't need. So you definitely need to check the ingredients. As for the chips, if you want to give your kid chips, instead of Cheetos, look for chips that are seed oil free. There's a lot now that you can find that are made with olive oil or avocado oil. There's popcorn made with avocado oil or olive oil. And try to find swaps or homemade snacks if you have the time to make them. For the fruit snack, instead of the fruit roll-up, try real fruit. Or there are some brands that have a fruit roll-up that is made of real fruit. You can also make your own at home as well. And for this Yo Crunch yogurt thing snack that I've never seen before, swap it out with Greek yogurt. Drizzle it with a little bit of raw honey and some fresh fruit to add some sweetness for them. But most importantly, what this lunch needs is protein. Protein, protein, protein. Try hard-boiled eggs, turkey slices, a small container of cottage cheese. Protein keeps your kids full and helps them stay energized throughout the day. So try to make some of those changes. And again, it doesn't need to be this home-cooked hot meal for them. You can still make it healthier than what you have probably been giving them. And I'm not asking you to go full-blown organic or start making everything from scratch, because let's be real, a lot of us mamas or daddas do not have time for that. And I know that I don't make a lot of things from scratch, but we do have homemade meals here at home. So let's just work towards at least adding some balance in, okay? And I usually don't like to use that word. I think that we need to learn what we're eating, what we're putting in our bodies. But having small children myself, I know the struggle. I get it. So maybe adding some protein sources like the eggs or the turkey into one meal a week at least. Swap out the processed snacks for better options. Small changes over time can add to huge improvements in your child's health and their energy levels. The bottom line is that feeding our kids doesn't have to be about perfection. It's about making informed choices and finding simple solutions that work for your family. And I'm not in your family. I don't know your situation. So this is just like a little sprinkle of seeds into your brain to just start opening your mind and learning about what we are feeding our children and figuring out if there is a better swap option than what you've been currently giving them. I'm not here to tell you to do it perfectly, okay? But I want to help you make choices that are going to fuel your kids in their day ahead. And protein and healthy fats And real ingredients really matter. I promise you, you will see the change. And you don't have to have cute theme lunches every day or ever. I don't ever have cute theme lunches. But we try to give them more healthier, balanced options. And again, my house is not perfect either, like I said, but we are working on it. We are working on really just teaching our children about nutrition, teaching about what they're putting into their bodies. And again, I struggle with it. I do. I struggle with it when I go to a birthday party because I don't want my kids to feel a certain way. And some people don't agree with that. They think, well, it doesn't matter. Just take their own snacks, take your stuff for them. I get that too. But again, to each their own. And you got to do what works for you and your family, for you and your kids. And we need to stop judging each other. I definitely work on that internally because when I see things like this, yeah, I automatically like I cringe because it hurts. And not so much about judging this mom because I feel like she was trying to come from a good place on saying like let's normalize the normal. But sadly, these kind of foods is is normal for a lot of homes, right? And I think we need to make this where it's not normal and learn that it's not healthy and you're not helping your child by giving them this because they might have a fit and not want to eat. A lot of the comments on this thread, I had to get out of it because they were just, there's so many people that agree with feeding their children this because their child won't eat or because it's all their child wants. Well, it's all your child wants and it's all they want to eat because it's what you gave them. So we have to take some responsibility as to why this is the only thing our child wants to eat. We need to take responsibility and now go through the hard of hearing a tantrum or explaining to our children why we're no longer eating this. If these foods are no longer in our home, they don't have a choice to eat them. They only have a choice to pick from what we have in the home. And so we buy here only free seed oil products, things that don't have seed oils. I try to get things that don't have added sugars, but yet things that they can still enjoy, and they do. So you have to find what works for you. And if you want to continue to feed your child foods that are not nutritional for them, then again, that is your decision. But I thought that this was an open conversation, an honest conversation on how I feel and how I think a lot of parents feel, but don't know what direction to go because they don't want to put that fear into their children, or they just don't want to hear it, or they don't want to argue with their children. I don't know. There's many reasons why people do the things they do, but I think that it's important to continue to have these open conversations, continue to educate each other and learn what is the healthier option for our children, because our children are our future. And if we continue to feed them this way, we're just continuing to feed the sickness that is out there. And I know that I want my children to be healthy. I want them not to have all of the health issues that I've had. And I think that a lot of them are due to nutrition. But most importantly, I want them to learn for themselves and make those decisions for themselves, and in turn teach their kids in the future about being healthy as well. So I hope that this video resonates with you. I hope that you're not hurt by what I say. I am not judging. Again, you do you. But I think, again, it's just a conversation that we need to have. And I know that sometimes conversations can be uncomfortable and we might feel defensive about it, but there's nothing to be defensive about. And sometimes we need to get uncomfortable and open up and talk the truth. So I hope that you have a blessed day. Pick better options for yourself and for your children. And I will see you again on the next podcast.